Wildwood live from the Orange Room with some Reverend guitars today. Folks, doggone it. It's good to be here with you. It's good to be anywhere, really, if we're honest. I'm going to share this quickly with some music friends. It never ends. Music friends, it never ends, ladies and gentlemen. What am I going to do? Write this post, write the post, write this post, write this post. And we did it. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a couple of Reverend guitars. This first one is a Wildwood exclusive 6-gun HSS in medieval red. You heard it. It is a Reverend Guitars 6-gun HSS in medieval red. Medieval. That sounds like if you're not careful, you might be disemboweled by the man. That's what medieval brings to mind. Am I right or am I right? The other guitar I'm going to play today is a Reeves Gabrels 2 in the orange flame maple. But first things first, my friends. Medieval activities are afoot. Oh, people are starting to come on in. Dig it. Full on evil. Not medieval, maximum evil. All right, let's see what we got. Interesting thing on this guitar, ladies and gentlemen, is that what's usually the bass contour control is a bass contour only for the bridge pickup. So it's almost kind of like-ish a coil tap, but functioning differently. It kind of functions that way. So if I'm in the 2 position, or woo, I like it. Greetings. So I'm going to play a little bit here. I'm actually using my Gristle King today for a clean boost and overdrive. And because I find that when I use a looper at all, if I use the heat on the amp, it will obviously distort everything going in the front of the amp. So the looper itself will get distorted. So the looper is actually going into the effects loop. No, I'm sorry, my brain. The looper's going in the front of the amp, but I'm using a overdrive in front of it, so I'm just overdriving my rock. Can you dig it? I like it. Beefy and succulent. Can you dig it, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get a close gander in on this bad boy. Look at that. You got a little mother of toy on that pick guard. You got to dig that. I'm no stranger to the mother of toilet seat. I dig it. I think it spells #opulence. And in these uncertain times, nothing's better than affecting a sense of opulence than a mother of toilet seat pick guard, ladies and gentlemen. Hold your head up high. Walk tall. Feel the pride welling up from deep inside as a result of mother of toy. Then, of course, you got that medieval red. Can you dig it? Medieval red. Medieval red. For the royal court, indeed. Sounds juicy. That's a little clean boost on the Gristle King. It sounds delicious. That's just the amp, and then... Cool, right? The Wilkinson tremolo on these things are killer. Cool. When I pick the right notes, it's killer. Chuck says it's a handsome get fiddle. You're Johnny on the doggone spot, my friend. Camera 1, camera 2. It's actually the same damn camera. It's just that it does the little close-up-a-rooney. It does a little close-up-a-rooney. Hey, Greg, question for you. Do you ever feel bad if a guitar you own just sits? I do feel bad. You know what happens is sometimes I forget I have a guitar until I see it, and I go, oh, I've missed you, Mr. Axe. And then I take it out, and I go, ding, 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 ding. A type of tremolo system, it's a Wilkinson. This question is, hey, Greg, do you generally take care of your guitars or do you treat them like farm animals? You know what? I treat them with respect, but I'm not overly anal on that. You know what I'm saying? Not every time do I give them the good wipe down when I restring, and I will after they get enough tone poi. I like to refer to the nougat that gets stuck in the hard to reach places around the git fiddle, tone poi. And after it's reached a level where I'm a little on the grossed out side, as it's been filled with some kind of human fall, I will use my great power to grab some guitar-friendly moisturizing nectar and apply a juicy coat, if you will, and then I will alleviate the guitar of all the mung that I can reach. But I change strings one string at a time. Have we talked about this? I don't know if we have. When I change strings, I've learned this a long time ago when playing strats with a floating bridge, because, you know, there's a lot of tension. It's a tension game. And I used to do a thing where I would get into this thing where I'd take all the strings off at once so I could clean the guitar and remove all the tone poi in one fell swoop. But the problem is the guitar was like, you just took hundreds of pounds of pressure off the damn thing. And then when you restring it, it's especially when you have, as I said, a floating tremolo, it takes forever to get the damn thing to stay in tune again. So one day my brain went, Gerbloidal, why don't you keep the guitar in tune and take one string off, remove all the nougat that you can from the realm of the one string, put the string back on, tune it up, give it a couple of tugs until it starts to stick, and then move on to the next doggone string, keeping the guitar in tune the whole time. And if you do that, the stability and cooperation of that instrument will be several-fold in your favor. May the odds be ever in your favor. I don't know what any of that means, but anyways. Rust in Peace says, I like that, by the way. Put your guitars back in the case at night. Keeps the necks from needing adjustments later. That's true. I don't always do that, though. I gotta, because I have various different guitars coming in and out as I do these feeds. This guitar just came today, as a matter of fact. I had to get the 2 Gretches back. Lick at the damn split because the blue sparkle one sold already. You got to dig that. That's the explosion of success. What? Anyway, so the guitars come in, the guitars go out. So I have some kind of sitting around. And then my buddy Carl came down. He dropped off like 6 guitars here. And Carl, I see you. I see you out there. And unfortunately, Carl, you kept your guitars in kind of a moist area because there are some vapors coming from these guitar cases that if I use my wife's descriptors, this would be an X-rated broadcast. There's a strange, I'm going to say an earthy smell. There's an earthy smell. When do we get a sneak peek at the Junior? Oh, soon, Peter, soon. Fart guitars. Interesting assessment. There's definitely some fun, and they're nice guitars too. There's some custom shop, master built Telecasters in there. There's the number 3 Clarence White custom shop B-Bender Tele in there. The first one went to Clarence White's wife. The second one went to Marty Stewart. The third one, my buddy Carl ended up with. So I have that here in my house. Yay, Drade. Yay. Anyway. Yeah, that. What I also dig is the locking damn tuners. It's just the gift that keeps on giving. I always like locking tuners. Even on my custom shop Strat that I ordered years ago, I made sure it had the doggone locking tuners in the back. These are the ones. This is the stuff that Reverend uses, and they're great. Woo! Can you dig it? The pedal as opposed to here's the overdrive and amp. Screw Bob. It sounds so doggone delicious. Is that Bobby Getcher out there? Big Bob in the house, say what? Big Bob in the house, say what? Big Bob in the house, Big Bob in the house, Big Bob in the house, say what? Wow, a song called Big Bob in the House. But I also like the fact that they always have the the treble bleed on the volume control so you don't lose any highs when you turn down the volume. Yes, Bob, it's a little chilly here. You know, it's every now and again I say to myself, is it going to be another day with just a t-shirt? Or are you going to act like a grown-ass man one of these days and put on a shirt? So this is actually just a little, I'm going to call it a shirt. Long sleeve shirt. It's thick, juicy. It is a little cold here. It's about 40 degrees here in Milwaukee today. 40 degrees. Steve says, hearing a hum I haven't heard before in the Orange Room. 60 cycle hum, it is. My proximity to my gear here is making it hum, but most of the time, cover up, Tom. I think that's a good way of calling it. It's a cover up. Yeah, this is a noisy room, and so that's why those Fishman pickups come in so handy because they're dead quiet. It sounds good. Am I right? Try that. Right? Question out there. Christian says, Greg, can you tell me what's the best option for non-custom shop butterscotch telly? I would say Wildwood has those thin skin 52. It's a USA Fender made thing, but it's a thin skin of nitro on there with custom shop pickups. That's what I would say. Can you dig it? Oh, thank you, Taylor. I appreciate that. He says, I recommended Operation Pentatonic to my buddy yesterday. Another question I saw was, when I'm not using a loop and I'm playing some blues licks, do I always imagine the rhythm section behind me? And I would say yes for the most part. I usually keep time with my left foot. As soon as I start playing a lick, my left foot starts going, doosh, doosh, badoosh, badoosh, badoosh. So if I'm just like going, yeah. The tilt back versus string trees when the trem is involved. I have a mental block about trees, but the triple tree locks, sorry, I didn't see that. Looks unobtrusive enough. It is indeed. It doesn't really bother me on the. I mean, I prefer on my signature model, I get rid of the longer string tree just because I like to do the pings on the G string. So I usually get one of the old, just the top two strings, but for everything else, it's great. Size 14 metronome, size 13. Dylan's got a 14. He's a Sasquatch. How do you improvise with chords? Well, that's a whole nother thing. We'll get into that one day. One day we will get into that kind of stuff. Yes, Hal Leonard has published all my instructional stuff. I've got about, I think, 17 books with either audio or video or just videos. The Hal Leonard Guitar Method books 1, 2, and 3 I co-wrote with the original author, Will Schmidt, rest his soul. And then I did Hal Leonard Guitar Method Blues Guitar, which is kind of for intermediate to advanced, ends advanced, but it's like the goal is by the time you're done with that book, you can go to a blues jam, and if someone says, hey, let's do a shuffle, or hey, let's do kind of a swing blues, or hey, let's do a minor blues, at least you'll know what you're doing. At least that was my goal. Then I did the Hal Leonard Guitar Method, Country Guitar Method book. Then as part of the method, I did a book called Lead Licks and Rhythm Riffs. One is kind of I got a bunch of different rhythm things that I do, and the premise of both books is the same: to take a lick or a riff, as the case may be, and morph it into different styles using different stylistic techniques. So the notes may be similar, but I do different things to fit it into a different genre, and there's audio that goes with that. I did the 2 Stevie Ray Vaughan Signature Licks DVDs. I did that with the band, so I play an example, and then I break it down on how to play it. I did a Leonard Skinner DVD. I did a blues DVD. I did a licks DVD. Then I did my own DVD and my own stuff from 2003 called Guitar Gristle. which is chock full of all the gristle you can handle. The humor is in full swing, and there's all kinds of maniacal things from that particular part of my career, which was doing some pretty crazed instrumental stuff, but there's some chicken picking on there, some whammy bar activities, some B-bender, instructional tutorialism, playing over changes, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then I did a book called Guitar Clues, Operation Pentatonic. There's a book called Guitar Gumbo, which is a collection of a bunch of articles I did for some guitar magazines. There is a standard tuning slide book, which has hours of video accompaniment for the examples. And then a book called Brave New Blues, which is me kind of morphing the styles of different people. Like I do different hypothetical matches of what if the left side of the brain was Jimi Hendrix and the right side of the brain was Jeff Beck, and they played over this particular chord groove. So I give little tutorials on the kind of mindset, licks, and techniques of all these different individuals, and I show how I'd morph them together. And there's about 3 hours of video material with that stuff. And all the Hell Entered stuff is available wherever Hell Entered is sold, but you can also get it from my website. And the next book that's come, there's also the Greg Koch Play Along book, which is a bunch of tunes from mine from around the 2003 era. The tunes are transcribed, and then I do solos that are we played live in the studio, and then those versions are transcribed. And then there's a book coming out of actual transcriptions of my tunes from the 17 plus releases I have. So I tried to narrow it down, and that book's coming out soon. So can you dig it? Let's see, new messages. It says new messages. Guitar Gumbo is the greatest cover in publishing history. I'll tell Richard Slater you said so. It was his idea. He was like, I want you to put on the chef's outfit. I'm like, what? Okay. What are you going to do? So the cover of this book, because it's Guitar Gumbo, guy has me dressed in a chef's hat with a chef's outfit, and I'm stirring a pot of something, and there's a guitar lead going into the pot of whatever the gumbo that I'm stirring up. So I go over to Germany on one of our tours, and I get to the hotel where we're staying, and we're playing at this area blues festival type of thing, and there's a few acts on the bill, and they have this little brochure for the area, like what to do this weekend type of thing, and it says the such and such blues festival, and on the cover of this brochure is me dressed in that outfit. And I got to tell you, I didn't know how I felt about it. I realized, my last name Koch in German means cook. So I suppose they just had a good old time with that. See? He is a cook. Horrible. What are you going to do? It's better than no one caring. Better than not being on the cover. So I'll take it. But needless to say, I laughed quite heartily when I saw that. Anyway, okay. When you improvise, do you think of chords or scales? I think you do chords more, but you can explain. I think of all the above. So I mostly think in, there's different ways I improvise with chords. That's, it's based off of the blues scale with chords. It's based off the modes with scales. It's based off the Mixolydian scale that I'll harmonize in triads. And then I'll do some diminished things where I'll use the all publicity is good. You are correct, Larry. You are correct. Anyway, so yeah, that's a whole loaded subject. One of these days we'll get into it more. Maybe I'll pull some stuff from my YouTube page that's more just strictly on the instructional side of things, which I have been. If you don't belong to my YouTube page, please do. I've been building up some different content on there, some instructional snippets and playing some different tunes. Every day I try to come up with a tune. And sometimes if I have time, I will do a quick video and pop it up there. And maybe sometimes I have even more time, I'll do a little description of what I'm doing and so on and so forth. I don't only play Telecasters. I've always played a Telecaster, but I played Strat was my primary guitar for well over 10 years. 335 was my main guitar for about 5 years there, my formative years. But a Tele was always in the mix. And then a few, 20 years ago-ish, no, not quite that long, 15 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm done messing around with keeping Strats in tune and carrying around a bunch of stuff, and I just switched to a Tele. And then I had some tweaks to a Tele I wanted to make, and I did the pickups with Fishman, and then I had the relationship with Reverend, and we thought, well, what would we do? And I said, well, let's do this. And we came up with that Gristlemaster, which everyone seems to be really digging. But I got a hankering for a P90 guitar, so I developed some brand new signature pickups with Fishman that'll be coming out hopefully January. Well, we're aiming they're going to be out in January. The guitars are going to be out, so they're going to come out in a guitar as well, a new Reverend iteration, which some of you have seen if you've seen me do these broadcasts. So, do I do Zoom or Skype lessons? I do Skype lessons through my website. They're $100 for an hour, and usually after about a half hour, I've filled you with enough stuff that your eyes are popping out a little bit. And then but yeah, they've been fine. I did one this morning, as a matter of fact. And people do them from all over the damn world. It's kind of fun. One day it's Australia, one day it's a guy out in California, one day it's a guy in Wausau, Wisconsin, the next day a guy in Germany, a guy in England. It's crazy. Anyway, you get the idea. It says, Greg, why don't you sing and write songs? If only I did. I have 17 records, which have me singing and playing on them, but what are you going to do? Greg, a couple of your favorite music documentaries. Thanks. Well, the Jaco Pastorius one is really good. I like that one quite a bit. Just watch the Linda Ronstadt one. That was excellent. You know, you'll fall in love with Linda all over again when you watch that doggone thing. Am I right? Yes. The comedy has been good over the years because it's kept me from going insane. Well, within reason. Kept me from being dysfunctionally insane. So, you know what I'm saying? Can you dig it? What do I think of the cage system? You know what? What's interesting is I've never really, people say the cage system, like CAGE, is that like a thing? And then I never bother to look what it is. I'm like, I've never even messed with it. You know what I'm saying? Can you dig it? Yeah. Is the Operation Pentatonic book available as an ebook? That I don't know. I know that they have done some of the books in an e format. I don't quite know what is all available. There you have it. They put you in a cage and make you practice scales. All right. Yes. Okay, I'm going to switch to this other guitar here for a hot minute. So let's just take a look at this rascal again. This is let's do one little close-up, Aroni. This is the Wildwood exclusive Reverend 6-gun HSS in medieval red, ladies and gentlemen. This one is serial number 422298. Can you dig it? All right, now, Ken from Reverend sent me some other Reverend guitars that actually I've never messed with. This other Reeves Gabrels model. I have a Space Hawk, a Reeves Gabrels Space Hawk guitar, which is fantastic. It's got a great out-of-phase sound. The pickups sound great on it. It's got a Mr. Wiggles. It's got a kill switch so you can go And of course, Reeves Gabrels, outstanding guitar player, cool cat, I might add. You remember him from Tin Machine, ladies and gentlemen, with David Bowie. And then, of course, now he's a full member of The Cure. And he's making that sweet, sweet Legacy Act money. Bless his heart. When you play with the Legacy Act, you make a whole lot of cash, and that's a fact. Little song called Legacy Act. Of course, no one's making any money with those bands right now because no one's going anywhere because of COVID-19. Ban it, COVID-19. Oh, no. This particular guitar, ladies and gentlemen, is a Reverend Reeves Gabrels 2, which is, and this is in the orange flame maple, and it has the Reeves Gabrels signature railhammer pickups in it. It's got a 3-way toggle switch, volume, tone, and then the bass contour switch is up here. sounds good right from the get. It's got a cool bound neck, too. Sometimes it's fun to look down at the bound neck and say, thank you, may I have another? Sounds good, am I right? Savage and thick. Bold. Bold and juicy. Plus, I like the concept of an orange flame. In the orange room, I do not want to see literal flames. That would be counterproductive to our activities here. But it is refreshing to see them in a aesthetic sense. Little Alvin Lee there for you. Something like that. Play some AC/DC. Boy, the hits just keep on coming in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna do some good old-fashioned. My version of the Alvin Lee lick. Yeah. These pickups are the Reverend's own rail hammers, and these are this particular version are the Reeves Gabrels signature rail hammers. It's a wicked guitar. You know what I'm saying? It's a wicked axe, and those are the facts. Sound good, am I right? Right? Can you dig it? Well, are you fretting with the slide? I do sometimes. So when you hear those glissandos go by, the little, like so I'm constantly going up and down on that ride. It is an ebony board on this rascal. So again, to read it is a Reeves Gabrels number 2, an orange flame maple. It's got a Mr. Wiggles. This is a Wilkinson Mr. Wiggles, a WV5 50 is what it's called, I believe. I just like to call it Mr. Wiggles. Mr. Wiggles, Mr. Wiggles. Song called Mr. Wiggles. Nothing wrong about it. Folks, we got a few minutes left. Any last questions out there? For me, in regard to the guitars or whatever you need, I'm here for you. Our friends on the internet, I'm here for you. Musical friends. Like that? Musical friends. Up above here we got Mr. Bass Contour. Can you dig it? What's the difference between a bass contour and a tone knob? The bass contour, when all the way up, is the full pickup in its usual glory. The bass contour actually subtracts a little bit of volume from it and some of the frequencies in the mids and the lows. It just makes it almost like a coil tap in some ways, because it makes a humbucker sound a little bit more single coily. But if it's a single coil, it just makes it sound, it's like a brighter, less than setting, I'm going to say. Can you dig it? Todd's going crazy with his talk about a whammy bar. Todd's gone crazy. Todd's gone mad. Woo! Lord have mercy on all. Do you have times when you go live, or is it spontaneous? It is scheduled. We have these Wildwood lives or takeovers, if you will. Takesovers? Sorry about that. It's live on my on Wildwood's YouTube page, of course, Wildwood's Facebook page, and then on my Greg Koch Music Facebook page, and then my YouTube page as well. So these are Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Central, and then Mondays and Fridays I do these with for Fishman, and it's Dylan, my son, on drums, and myself, and that's just more of just kind of jamming and talking a little bit about the Fishman stuff. And that's at 4 p.m. Central Time on every Monday and Friday, and then this weekend on Saturday at 5 p.m. Central. On my Facebook page and my YouTube page will be the Koch Marshall Trio, my band with my son on drums, and Toby Lee Marshall on the Hammond organ. And we do that every other week. So, and this is the weekend we're doing it. So tune in for that, 5 p.m. Central Time this Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You like the new Orange Room thumbnail? I'm glad you liked that. My wifey Pooh did that. She's a rascal. What microphone you got? Hi. Well, you mean on the amps? Someone asked a little bit earlier what we're doing for mic and everything up. We've been experimenting with different things. So this SM58 is going through the Fishman SA330 line array thing back here, little PA. And out of the back, I'm going into the Tascam Model 24, which is something we run through all of our live streams. And that goes into the computer, which is running through Logic. On the front of my amp, I've got an M Audio condenser mic on the front of the amp, and I've also got a SM57, and we blend those two together. And then we're going out of OBS is what we use to combine the video and the audio, and then we use Restream to send it out into the universe, and that's why on Restream chat, I can see the comments from all the different formats at the same time as they come in. So I see the YouTube comments as well as all the different Facebook comments. Can you dig it? Will you dig it? We're going to need a bigger room. Yeah, that's a fact. It gets a little loud in here. Toby's been bringing down his what's the name of his Hammond, Dylan? Is it XKS, right? XKS, but then he brings his real Leslie. So he goes out of the Hammond XKX, it's hard to say, I don't know why, into the real Leslie, and it sounds damn good. But if we brought his regular B3 in here, obviously, we would have no room for a damn thing, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Toby frightens me, and he should, Todd. He is a frighteningly savage individual. His musicality is bold and savage. He is a monster on that B3. He's not afraid of it. He takes it and he says, look, I am your master, now take it all. That's what he says to that inanimate object, and the inanimate object responds in kind with a grateful subservience. What? I don't know what any of this means. Why not pipe it through the Neo ventilator? Because there's nothing like moving real air. You know what I'm saying? The ventilator sounds great, but when you hear it next to a real Leslie, you go, oh, because the Doppler effect is for reals, ladies and gentlemen. And I gotta tell you, that Leslie is louder than the Word of God. It just, it sounds glorious, but I'll tell you what, it'll rattle your polyps. You got anything going on down there, it's not going down for much longer. It's just gonna get ripped to shreds by the sheer power of rock music. And the powers of Toby Lee Marshall Lee Toby on the organ. What? Todd says he's a big fan of Dylan's hair, and rightly so, Todd. It's a glorious mane. And he's just going to keep growing it until finally it takes over the world. It'll be a planet called Dylan's hair, formerly known as Earth. And it'll be a better place, I think, if I may be so bold. Let's see. Leslies are so cool. You are correct, Maddie K. They are a glorious, glorious thing. Is Toby cooking dinner? No. Although he has been bringing over some snacks. usually what happens is that after we're done, I get some delicious nourishment from one of the local establishments, and we feast. But I think he has to cut out of here early because he's got to get back to Minneapolis. He drives down from Minneapolis, ladies and gentlemen, to do our live feed. So we always are very grateful when people contribute generously to our cause when we do the live streams, because we have not done the gated streams yet where we do a ticketed thing and so on and so forth. We just are reliant on the tips, and they have been excellent. And also, people have been generous with going to the website and checking out all of our wares. So that's all been all good. But that's again on Friday, and we would appreciate your continued support, I might add. You need another buffet video. Yeah, well, we'll make that happen once I go back out to Colorado again. We don't know when that's going to happen, but hopefully that'll be sooner than later. What's the most recent cool thing you've learned on guitar or that you are working out? Oh, it's hard to say. There's always new little things that come to the fore. Usually just tunes that come, and they may be involved with a certain technique. It's always something, little things. Usually it's little subtle vibrato things or little chords that I'll discover and go, hey, that's delicious. Hope you do a vid with Tim Pierce soon. Yeah, that would be nice. Have you tried the EVH Wolfgang with the kill switch button? I have not, although it's interesting on the other Reverend Reeves Gabrels model, the Space Hawk, there's a kill switch on there, and you can go, nah, 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 which is kind of fun. Mark asked, did you ever try the Rain song in standard tuning? Years ago, I had it figured out in some way, shape, or form, except for the very ending, would always prove to be kind of a challenge. And then I learned it in the regular tuning, and then I've forgotten both. So I'd have to resurrect that. What's the first tune you ever learned? I think it was... Wrong key, but that's what I learned. Like, hey, I'm playing Cocaine by Eric Clapton. Or J.J. Cale, depending on what part of town you're from. Where do you get your beanie hats? Denise Porter makes them for me. I actually have them available through my website. If you are inclined, you can go to gregkoch.com, and I sell all the different versions that I wear, including, I think Tom was asking about the new colors, and I think they might be available now, so you can check that out on the old website. Phineas Poundwell, yes, that's one of the tunes from the Acoustic Gristle Soup. We're trying to figure out about the new record of when it's going to come out. Mark says, you're so young. Oh, don't I wish it. All right, folks, that's all I got for you. I hope you have a pleasant remainder of your day. If you're so inclined, we'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central. And then again Saturday with the full band right here in the Orange Room, 5 p.m. Central Time on my YouTube channel and Facebook as well. Thank you, folks, so much. Thank you, Wildwood. Thank you, Reverend, for making such cool guitars. We'll see you cats soon. Bye for now.